Hello, and welcome, friends and mortal enemies. Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to Terror is a Mood podcast, a sibling account of true crime and paranormal activity. Kick back and let's set the mood with your hosts, Valerie and Melanie.
Hey, sister.
Hey, lady.
What are you all doing for Labor Day?
I know what you're doing for Labor Day.
I am gonna be swamped up with doggies. I'm excited about that, honestly.
Oh, I thought you were coming to our house.
I'm going the week before.
Oh, Labor Day.
And we're staying through the 1st.
It is my first paid holiday.
It's paid.
Working. So I'm going to be doing whatever I want while getting paid, which is cool.
You're gonna be on the boat. Take the boat out. You're gonna take the boat out 2 weekends in a row.
You're going to be here for the first day of school.
What day is that?
The 30th.
Oh, really? The 30th?
Yeah. All my babies will be in school.
The 30th is late in the year. We're starting a week earlier.
It's actually the earliest we've ever done. We're usually a week later because they do it after Labor Day. But it's fine.
So that's in...
No, don't tell them where I live.
Oh, okay. Well...
So, you want to talk about how we got our name, Mel?
Yeah, that'll be funny. Okay. We've never talked about that. Do you want to talk about what our original name was?
Yeah, man, because I was super excited about that. I was telling people about it before it even happened. What was it?
Yeah, you were manifesting it. It was Tacos and Terror.
Tacos and Terror, y'all, because it was very selfish. Kind of. I love tacos and I love true crime. But more importantly, we grew up eating tacos and living through terror our whole lives.
Aww.
In a good way.
In a way.
I mean,
we grew up really quick.
Yeah, we survived every single worst day of our life, which I love. Every single one we survived.
This is true.
So,
everyone.
Fuck it.
Such a positive outlook.
Yeah, thank you, Robin Arzon from Peloton. Whoop, whoop.
Aw, I love that. I miss her.
Dude,
I need to work out with her soon.
She is a queen. Hold on, I gotta fix my crown.
Now she has a baby.
I know. She's beautiful.
I was like, is it a girl or a boy?
She.
She's baby.
She. So,
okay,
well, that was gonna be our original name. We were like super stoked about it. We were like making drawings for it, and then we realized after it was when we were gonna start the podcast, start registering names.
Oh yeah, pretty much. We had artwork done,
and we Googled just to make sure, even though we had a bunch of stuff already started, and there's a wonderful podcast that I've never heard before called Terror and Tacos. Shout out Terror and Tacos. It's a really great name.
Yeah. I think they review movies.
They do.
Horror movies.
They do.
Yep,
and
that's
I was
what they
like,
do.
No! But you know what?
It makes sense because you got to eat the tacos as you watch the movie.
Dude, we could just do that anyway. Let's do it after we're done.
Yeah. We still do it, but Terror is a Mood came around because we thought it was catchy. Anything's a mood, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, we were Googling.
You do have to have a certain palate to listen to this stuff, you creepy people.
Yeah, you moodies. You creepy moodsters. No, so...
Oh, yeah.
We were Googling what we could possibly name ourselves, and I was, looking up terror and, synonyms for terror, and then one of the Google questions was, is terror a mood? And I was like, oh, my gosh. I'm going to answer that question, Google, with a podcast. And I told Melanie, she was like, that's cool, let's do it. Yeah. So that's how our baby, Terror...
It just fit.
Terror is a Mood came to be. Little cute little baby.
And with that, Valerie, we're going to be weird, and you're going to start us off this episode.
Hell yeah, Moodies. I hope you're ready. Also, we're calling you all Moodies if you listen to us because we like it.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Do you remember when my kid used to say that? He would never say you're welcome.
First child.
He would always say, you're welcome. And I loved it because it was just cute.
I remember him. His hair was as cute as it is now.
But then they were saying weird things like, can I have some chap? For chapstick. I was like, no, just say chapstick.
Then they got lazy. Then you realize they just had a lazy vocabulary.
And now they say yeet. It's so terrible.
Oh yeah, all the yeet the baby.
Even our
I
youngest,
won't
our youngest
forget
is mom.
that.
Our youngest is like, Mom, I yeeted the
Exactly.
ball, and I'm like, no, that's not a word. It's not a word, honey.
Don't use it like that, please. I hate when they do that, when they make adjectives or names, random things into adjectives. Like, I Marvin Gayed it. I hated that
Oh my
song
gosh, I love
when it
Marvin
came
Gaye
out
it
because I
though.
was like, nope, that's not how it
And there's
works.
some trauma and terror with that. Did you know that? I didn't know.
Oh yeah, that's a story for you to cover in the future.
Oh, we'll cover it and we'll talk about how much I love Sam Rockwell's dancing to Marvin Gaye's song in Charlie's Angels, the old one with Drew Barrymore. I mean, I've loved Sam Rockwell forever, but when
It's
I saw
not
him
the
dance
old
to
one.
that,
That's
I
like
was
the
like,
newest
it's a
Charlie's
2000-ish one,
Angels.
which is like 20 years ago, Mel.
Still, there's
It's
older.
not the brand new one, but it's not the oldest one. Whatever. Let's just honor Sam Rockwell. Let's have a moment of silence to just drool over that man. Like, I hadn't even talk.
She's
Don't
literally
tell my
drooling.
husband.
She had
I
to clean her mouth. Russ.
love
Russ,
him.
I'm texting him now. Just kidding. It's because
Russ
you're thinking of
knows.
him as
He's so
well.
hot. He's dancing in that black tank top. Woo! Okay, let's get on. Let's get on with the show.
So goofy. I liked it
Oh,
because
he's
it was
so
just
hot.
who was it? Cameron Diaz was so cute in that movie.
She reminds me of
I
Mom
loved her little
all the
personality.
time.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
yeah. Go ahead.
let's
Start.
mix it up, Mel. We are going to start with true crime this week instead of
Let us know what you think.
ghosty stuff. Yeah, we're going to mix it up based on how we feel. Today, I feel like going first. So, here we go, Melanie. It's very cool. It's Brazilian, so it's a lot of Portuguese.
No way. I have a story set in Brazil as well.
Shut it. Tonight?
Yeah. Right now.
We are such sisters.
Unintentionally, you're both like, we got to get out of the States.
Yeah, we're like, fuck America.
I don't know if we could say that. I'll bleep it out for your sake, Val. Don't judge her, guys.
I'm
She's
just
actually
kidding.
She's very patriotic, considering her family.
My husband is, serving, so hell yeah. I love some things. I love most things about America. Okay, hold on. This is a story about Elize Matsunaga. That's Portuguese, guys.
That's a mouthful.
I like it. I think it's hot. So, I'm not sure if you've been watching Netflix or keeping up with Netflix, Melanie, but there's a new documentary on there, and it is about, and I repeat, Elize Matsunaga. And
Okay, cool. No, I haven't heard of it.
so here we go. Let's talk about it. The Netflix documentary that I'll mention at the end of the episode opens up with a killer in the middle of a police interview. Her name is, what did I say? Elize Matsunaga. And Melanie, she is newly widowed.
Dun dun dun.
I literally wrote bum 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 in my notes, and then I was like, no, that's lame. But it was not, because great minds think alike. Anyhow, so Elize, the defendant, was born out of Aruajo. Hold on, I said that
We
wrong.
apologize now that our stories are set in Brazil and we might not have the best pronunciation.
Yeah, we're super Mexican, so we don't know Portuguese. We're Mexican. We speak Spanish, not Portuguese, but I think it's really beautiful, and I'm sad that I'm going to slaughter
Thank
it.
you for covering for me, sis.
Shh. I wasn't telling anyone. So Elize, Elize was born on November 29th in 1981, so she's about 6 years older than me. Right? Yeah. She grew up in a very poor family deep in the small town of, and I again apologize for messing this up, Jopintino, in the southern state of Paraná.
Sounds good.
Sure. To say it with confidence. Their house was made of wood, and apparently they didn't even have an indoor bathroom. Just very, very poor. When she was 3 years old, her father left her family, never to return. And her mom, needing to provide as the sole breadwinner for the family for her kids, she went to Curitiba to be a maid. So it wasn't like a daily commute.
She was a working lady.
Moved there.
Oh, so she lived like on the property, maybe
In Curitiba.
even.
Yes. So Elize ended up being primarily raised by her grandma and her aunt, whom she considered to be like her real mom. Her aunt raised her for as long as she could remember. But
she was there.
When Elize was 10, her mom came back to raise her with a new husband. So Mama got married while she was gone. She came back to raise her daughter, and I guess it was only her because I don't see any other mention of children. So sorry if I misspoke earlier. Anyhow, when she was 10, her mom came back, and she would eventually be sexually abused by her mom's new husband / her stepdad.
Oh, damn.
And unfortunately, I know, when she told her mom about the abuse, her mom did not believe her. Which, speaking from experience, super fucking sucks. Just when anyone questions your truth, it's so difficult. And I can't even imagine having to deal with that, as a teenager or as a child.
So young, yeah.
Yeah. She actually ended up running away when she was 15. And she kind of tracked down her aunt because, again, she was living with her mom, so that she wasn't near her grandparents and her aunt anymore. She found her aunt, she tracked her down and asked to live with her just so that she could raise her. And her aunt was like, duh, I love you, come here. So she did.
That's awesome.
And yeah, she was
so
about
happy for her.
15. Yeah. Yes, she had someone who loved her, but they were also very poor. And so 3 years later, her aunt would give her sage advice, and she told Elize, you need to educate yourself. If you ever have any plan of escaping the cycle of poverty, you need to educate yourself. You need to go to school.
That's smart on her. Education gets you out of the house.
Gets you out of the house.
From just the day-to-day chores.
It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
I mean, back in that time.
even
I feel
now,
like.
get out of the house, man. Go learn something. Go read a book. So, Elize went to school to train as a nurse technician, which I imagine is kind of like a CNA or something, the beginning steps to being a nurse.
Oh, yeah, the first steps.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
A degree that one article claimed was paid with nickels and dimes. Literally.
Hey, she did it.
You know what? True, but also, nickels and dimes are money too. I don't care if you have 500 nickels, you still got a good amount of money on you. I can't tell you how much it is right now because my brain's not working for that. But pennies are money.
Not after a long day.
Yeah, pennies are money. If it weren't currency, it wouldn't exist. Anyhow, so cool. She paid for it with nickels and dimes. After working as a nurse for a few months, though, Elize was deciding that she wanted to be a lawyer. She's like, I think I'm going to do that instead.
Wow.
I know. And law school is not cheap, no matter how many nickels and dimes you have. So Elize actually turned to sex work to pay for her degree, since she had a friend of hers who was also in school who was doing that to pay for her education. She was like, cool.
Wow. Okay.
It works. Let's do it, right? So
if it works, I mean, it's a profession.
It's work, man. It's work even when you're not getting paid for it. Husband. I just mean, I have no issues with sex workers. If they want to do that, I feel like they're sacrificing just as much, including like their lives. They're putting themselves in so much danger because people are so shitty about something relatively natural. Like, it's literally the oldest job in the world. There were they were sex workers. I know we used to call them prostitutes. They were sex workers in the Bible. It's been around forever.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why people are like, my pearls. Anyway, so she would eventually get lured by a madam. She and 3 other escorts were lured by a madam to move to Sao Paulo. So there, she was working a lot, sometimes seeing as many as 10 clients a day. It was during her first month that Elize would meet Marcos Matsunaga via a website called M-Class. And true story, I tried Googling M-Class to see if I could check out this escort website because I've never seen one. It does not exist. It kept taking me to elementary school classrooms, and I was like, this is not
not what I'm looking for.
And then I even looked up M-Class Brazilian escorts, and it went somewhere sketchy, and I was like, nope, forget it. I don't need to know. I don't need to research that much. Anyhow, on the site, Elize went by the name Kelly, and she looked, beautiful, innocent. She was blonde hair, tiny, pretty girl. She looked like the girl next door.
Elize?
Elize. Yeah, I'll have to show you a picture. She was beautiful, and she just looked so precious. Marcos was a Brazilian businessman. He was born in the city of Sao Paulo and went on to study at the best schools in the region. He was a food brand entrepreneur and heir to the Yoki throne, as he was next to be CEO once he was done with schooling. He studied administration at the Getulio Vargas Foundation in Rio de Janeiro. And anyhow, Yoki, you might ask, was a major food brand company named after Marcos's grandfather, Yoshizo Kitano. Yoshizo Kitano. Have you heard of Yoki? Yoki Foods?
I don't think so.
Well, he was heir to the Yoki throne. It was a huge food thing, a food brand company. And he was next in line to take over. So he was well off. His whole family was rich. That's why he went to the best schools when he was younger and all that stuff. And honestly, Marcus had it all, including a wife and daughter. His wife...
brother.
His wife was married to a woman... I'm sorry. He was married to a woman who worked at the factories, the Yoki factories in Rio Grande do Sul, and they had a daughter. Despite this, though, he began a relationship with Elize that would last 3 years using that M-Class website.
Another 3 years.
I know! I was like, is that the lucky number for cheating?
That is so long.
It's a long time, and...
A year is a lifetime.
And she was an escort, so he was paying her for her services. It wasn't like she just had an affair with him. He utilized her services. So good for her, making money, but 3 years. Unlike most affairs, though, I guess if that's what you want to call it, he actually left his wife and daughter and married Elize. And that...
He was in love.
Yeah, he was in love with her. That was in October of 2009. And apparently, the couple strived to immediately expand their family, but they were having reproductive issues. She could not get pregnant. Despite these struggles, the couple seemed happy. They would always go on vacations. Like, thinking of how poor Elize was when she was born and what she was born into, what she grew up with. When she married this guy, even before then, he wined and dined her, took her to the finest places. She wore like she had Louis Vuitton everything. You know, she was very, very well off.
It was a complete opposite
Totally
of
opposite.
what she started out with.
Yes.
Hey, she must have been a good person.
Yeah, I agree.
She got it back. Like karma. She dealt with some shit and life's rewarding her. Sorry, girl.
I totally understand that. And so they were often photographed on vacation together in fabulous places. They also enjoyed hunting together. And they were both fancy certificate holders. And this certificate was a certificate of registration of the Brazilian Army. And it gave the couple the ability to collect weapons and also to shoot and hunt with them. Like crazy weapons, not just like handguns.
Was this illegal?
It's in Brazil.
It, like,
no,
under the
no.
table?
They had a certificate from
It's
Brazil.
something they could do.
Yes.
It sounds fishy.
I agree. So they were avid hunters who, you know, they ate the game that they shot, though. They weren't just like prize hunting.
They didn't waste it. Yeah.
Let's see. Elise's hairdresser would go on to say that she loved showing off her trophies, you know, the heads of these dead animals on the walls of her house. So the couple would go on in marital bliss until about 2010. It was at this time that Elize began to suspect that Marcos was having an affair.
How long were they together?
They got married in 2009.
Oh, so it'd only been a year. So it's a really recent story. I'm sorry. I must have missed the year.
It's not super old. So
I feel like that is so recent.
it's so funny. It was 11 years ago. When this happened, you were like, what, a freshman?
2011 I graduated, so maybe
like
a sophomore.
Junior. You were a little baby.
Yeah.
You're still a little baby. So it was at this time that Elize began to suspect that Marcos was having an affair. At the time, fights between the pair were constant. And at one point, Elize even made Marcos fire a secretary after suspecting that she was working overtime as his mistress. Those are my words.
Oh.
So she was like, fucking fire her.
Yeah.
No Broderickness here. That would be awful. Also, I'm sorry that I'm doing another cheating husband so soon. I just realized that the one in between was not that. Our bonus episode that only Patreoners will know about. We'll have...
Oh, yeah, guys.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that maybe in the break. So, let's see. She made him fire the secretary. She made him fire the secretary. Eventually, Elize would find texts between Marcos and another woman, cementing Elise's belief that he was cheating on her. So when she found out, she decided, like, that's it. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna get a divorce. Fuck this guy. But then she found out she was pregnant.
Oh, no. Okay, this could go both ways. This could be a good thing and he changes his ways, or this could go, he just sticks to what he's doing and it's bad.
I agree with you. But in Elise's heart, she was like, you know what? This is what we've been wanting this whole time. I'm not going to leave. We're going to work on this. And they did live happily for a while. A little while longer after their daughter was born. So he had another daughter. Of course, this butthead was messing around again. And Elize became suspicious. So in May of 2012, Elize actually ended up hiring a private investigator to catch her scandalous husband when she found an email exchange with an escort from Escorts Vogue, which apparently...
Escorts again?
Apparently at some point, this is one of the same places Elize used to solicit her services on when they first met. So she realized that Marcos was still loyal to the site, and she ended up meeting with a private investigator. She had told him that she was in her hometown, which was also true. She was visiting her hometown because her grandmother was sick, very, very sick, and pretty much dying. And she wanted her ailing grandmother, to meet her daughter, Helena, before she passed. But while the cat's away, the mice will play, right?
Definitely.
That was my cheese ball line. I wrote that in. So, on the night of May 17th, the PI had captured footage of Marcos with his lover at the Mercury Hotel in Olympia in Sao Paulo. The PI caught them having dinner together and then returning to the hotel. And I guess while they were waiting for the valet, there is footage, like video footage of Marcos and his mistress, and he's like holding her while they're waiting for the valet to bring them their car, and like kissing and just being all cozy and cute with not his wife, which is fucked up.
Not his wife.
Not his wife.
Most stuff.
So it was on May 19th. So that was the 17th. On May 19th, Elize would return to Sao Paulo to meet Marcos with their daughter, who was only a year old at the time. He picked them up.
Oh, he couldn't even enjoy their childhood.
I know.
Her childhood.
You're not wrong. He picked them up from the airport along with their nanny, and that same night, 38-year-old Elize would kill her 42-year-old husband. It was in the documentary I saw, but they have video footage of Elize using the elevator with the nanny, her daughter, and her husband, and they're all just seen using the elevator to go into their apartment, their flat. The nanny was dismissed sometime after 6:30 that evening, and at one point, Marcos leaves to go get a pizza, but he's all alone. And the camera footage shows that he was like super irritated. Like he's just frustrated. Literally just going to meet the pizza guy downstairs. And he's so frustrated that he's actually filmed kicking a wall.
Oh, yeah. He's pissed.
While he's alone. Yeah. It was then, so he comes back with the pizza. And it was then that Elize and Marcos began to argue over his infidelity. She claims that he got mad and slapped her. Something he had never, ever done before. And so she left the room, and she said she grabbed a gun from their closet because she wanted to protect herself just in case. Because he had been so out of it. She didn't know what he would be capable of.
I mean, yeah, self-protection. You're talking about infidelity with this man. Protect yourself.
And he was not having it. He was like, there's nothing wrong. Like, he was an asshole. I'm sorry, but he was. So Marcos continued to yell at her and threatened to take full custody of their daughter, Helena. And that's when she says that she went back and using a .765 caliber pistol, she shot Marcos in the head.
Oh.
After that, she slit his throat.
Vengeful.
She just wanted to make sure he was dead, I guess. So on Sunday morning, the temporary nanny came, and Elize had already moved him to a different room and just kind of left him in a room. So the nanny comes, takes care of baby Helena, and while the woman took care of the baby on the second floor of the duplex apartment, Elize went to go check on Marcos. After the first signs of cadaveric rigor appeared, I guess rigor mortis had started appearing.
Oh, at the first signs, yeah.
At the first signs, she dragged the body to the maid's bathroom where she dismembered him. Elize cut his body into 7 parts.
To what? For an easy burial?
Maybe. She cut his body into 7 parts, Mel. So, the head, 2 arms, torso, 2 legs, and the groin were cut up.
As you described that, I felt just nauseous.
I'm sorry.
Easy.
So then Elize disposed of his body in trash bags, and she proceeded to clean up her flat with household disinfectants. Nothing crazy. More footage would reveal that Elize left their apartment at 11:30 a.m. the next day, so that's Sunday, when the nanny was there, carrying 3 backpacks. Marcos's body parts would end up scattered along the side of the road, discovered by locals in Cuatia, 20 miles outside of Sao Paulo. Sorry if I am ruining those beautiful names.
We've already apologized. Go on.
So, the following Monday, Luis Carlos Lozio, right-hand man of company president Mitsuo Matsunaga, reported Marcos missing.
Was this really meditated? She sounds kind of not as worried as she should be. Her cleaning wasn't good, like household cleaners. Nothing?
She used household disinfectants, and she just packed him up she literally carried him out in 3 backpacks.
And to toss him just on the side of the road on a regular highway.
Yeah, she scattered his body along the side of the road about 20 miles outside of Sao Paulo because different people found him. Found the pieces of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, the following Monday, Luis Carlos Lozio, right-hand man of company president Mitsuo Matsunaga, reported Marcos missing. He didn't even think to ask questions about why they were making him call. He just assumed that the president was busy since they were actually about to sell their company to General Mills for $1.75 billion.
Oh, the family's company?
Oh, yeah, and Marcos was going to get all that money because it was his.
Yeah, wow. Ooh, that's not cool. What's going to happen now?
So Marcos's mom was actually pretty worried since she spoke with her missing son pretty much on a daily basis without fail. She also proudly admitted that Marcos was her favorite. Oh gosh. Elize had her own theories about what happened and agreed to meet her mother-in-law with evidence of his disappearance. Pretty much what she was doing was saying that he ran off with a mistress. He was cheating on me again.
I don't know where he is.
Yeah, and none of the family was really worried about it because they were like, oh yeah, he does totally cheat on her. That they just kind of took it like, oh, well, at least he wasn't kidnapped or something. They were afraid something bad happened, but he just ran off with his mistress, which I think is stupid. So Marcos's brother, apparently I didn't write down his name. Marcos's brother was Marcos's opposite in every way, but he went to the police as well. And even when he was going to the police, he didn't really have a lot of information about his brother because they weren't very close at all. He was a little naive to who his brother was. He didn't know Marcos had a wine cellar with Elize. They converted 2 of their rooms in their home, and this wine collection that they sold was valued at over $2 million.
Badass.
Wine.
Yeah.
So, he also had a collection of nearly 30 weapons. This is Marcos and Elize. They had 30 weapons in their house, including a Thompson machine gun, which I should know what that is considering I'm a Thompson, but I'm assuming it's badass because it's a Thompson. Anyhow. And a PPK pistol. They also owned a boa constrictor, and he didn't know that his brother was addicted to escorts either.
Oh, they
But
weren't really
Elise,
close then at all, it sounds like.
no, they weren't close at all because they were such polar opposites. And he was like quiet and timid, where Marcos was not. I mean, he was heir to the
Clearly has a
throne.
boa constrictor.
And Elise was cool with everything. She was like, yeah, I love to hunt. Yeah, give me that snake. I'll hold it. She was
Yeah.
just
She was
down with
down.
everything.
He was just addicted to pain for sex, which is really weird. Is it a power move? It's a
No.
power thing. It's a power move.
I guess I think it's a lot of insecurity. Like, he must have been very insecure that he felt like he needed this attention from people.
Who knows?
So, let's see. The brother teamed up with the detective Lucas Martins, who was pretty awesome at his job. He made it a point to give anyone he was working on a case for his cell phone number in case they needed to, like, call him. He was just like, here, family, call me if you find anything out, if something's changing. He wanted to know everything. He was a really good detective. And it was on May 22nd that a leg was found in a bag.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. Excuse me. A bag near it had clothing that they assumed belonged to the victim. It had Diesel jeans. Do you remember Diesel, Mel?
I mean,
brand?
yeah. I think they're still a brand.
I'm sure they are. But to Martin's, that detective, he was like, what the hell is this? So he Googled what Diesel jeans were, and he found that they were worth over $600 a pair. Which he was just like,
Oh, I didn't know
mind
that
blown.
much. Yeah, that's a bit much.
Yeah,
I
it
thought
was
maybe
a
300, 170.
It was a $600 pair of jeans in a bag, and he was like, "This is unreal." And also, what they noticed is that the bags, yeah, the clothes and the body parts, all of them they found were stuffed in bags, but the bags were blue, like normal trash bags, I guess, at this time. But they also had a red drawstring, and this one little feature wasn't really uncommon, but it really was only found in like the upscale supermarket chains. So
Interesting. How
they were like,
funny.
someone with money has this, because you don't just get these bags at fucking HEB or Food Lion or
Whatever your
Aldi,
local
I
grocery
guess.
store is.
HEB is the best. I miss you, HEB. HEB sponsor us.
Oh,
Anyhow,
yeah.
so yeah. So that was one of the clues. They were like, this is a fancy bag. And what else? Parts of a dismembered body had been showing up again all over the place, 20 miles outside of Sao Paulo. When the detective saw photos of the victim's legs and groin on his superior's computer screen, someone said, "This looks like a crime of passion, and whoever made these cuts knows something about anatomy."
Ah, interesting. Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep saying interesting. That gives away Elise with her medical background.
Yes, so, the police were looking into as many clues as they could find and contacts of Marcos. And after talking to Marcos's friends, they found out more about the unhappy marriage that he was in. Apparently, Marcos was constantly complaining to his friends, like, "Ugh, why does my wife complain so much? She has money, a nanny, and a maid." And apparently, Marcos just couldn't understand why she was so unhappy still with his cheating, I guess, and everything, when she has fucking everything else she wanted. And that, I guess he told one friend, Boria, a person who worked under Marcos, that he was just like, fuck it. And he just started seeing the escorts again because he figured he couldn't make his wife happy either way.
Maybe she didn't have a supportive, loving husband.
I know.
It sounds like she just had a man that was like, I have money. These are all the things that gets you. Be happy.
Yeah, shut up. Just go bang some money.
Here's
No, it's
more
not
money.
the same. You should make it like a... Anyway. So Boria, again, was that person who worked under Marcos. He even mentioned that he got a text from Marcos the day before he disappeared, where he said he had texted him, heading out to pick up the nut job, in reference to Elise when he was picking her up from the airport with the nanny and his daughter.
That's so sad. So
I know.
mean.
I know. I was like, she wasn't a nut job. You're an asshole. And I hate to, like, talk shit about victims, but he wasn't nice. He's a bad guy. Anyway, it was about a week later that Boria would identify his boss per a skin photo of one of the limbs that they found. I don't know if it was like a tattoo or something that he recognized, but he was like, Yep, that's
Yeah, I
Marcos.
think something familiar. I would hope something
Mm-hmm.
familiar, not just a random patch of like the inside of her elbow. That
Yes.
looks the same
So
on everyone.
I don't know. I could. Yeah. I feel like. Yeah. There's a lot of identifying marks on me. So Elise became a suspect after phone records linked her to the location of the remains, like the random places her phone was pinging at these places. I just don't know why people carry their cell phones everywhere. Especially if you're committing murder or getting rid of a body, just leave your phone somewhere.
Leave your cell phone alone.
It pings everywhere. Even if you're not using it, it's gonna ping somewhere. Just if someone sends you a text message and you're like, "Oh shit," that's it. They have you where you
You're
were.
done.
Even if you don't look at it, it's just anyway. Triangulation. So she admitted to the crime, calling it a crime of passion, and insisted that she was the only perpetrator. And I guess in Brazil, after like confessions and interrogations, the police often do a reenactment of the crime, and so they like take Elise back to the crime scene, and they say, mind you, it was all cleaned up because they had been there for weeks, but they tell her like, show us what happened, and she has to like, I was standing here and Marcos was here, and they were like, okay, then he slapped you, and then what? And she's like, I walked away, but she has to be like, I walked this way out, not just walking away from the scene. Like she has to tell them exactly how she remembered it happening. And so they do a reenactment of the crime via Elise's perspective. After the reenactment, the luminol did its job, turning up vestiges of blood along the entire path described by Elise, even though she had cleaned up, and the maid had since cleaned her apartment every day for 18 days. So she was free for 18 days.
This moved pretty fast.
I know. During the trial, there were always comments about the precise cutting of the body, claiming only someone with medical knowledge could have been so accurate. Again, that nursing experience she had, and she was never a surgeon or anything, but she was parts of these surgeries and operations that she said she learned by watching the doctors do these things.
Oh
That's
wow, that's what she said in the court.
Mm-hmm. And so, as I mentioned before, when she explained how she killed him, it was like in a crime of passion, and they were standing, and he was yelling at her, making her upset. But blood spatter, a la Dexter, would challenge her ass. And apparently, the trajectory of the bullet, using a stiletto, a probe inserted into the wound, concluded that it had been fired from left to right, front to back, and downward, which would mean that Marcos was seated, kneeling, or sleeping. In other words,
shot
helpless.
from behind.
Mm-hmm. Or that he ducked his head instinctively in an attempt to save himself. But again, Elise was a hunter, and so was Marcos, so she knew how to fucking shoot someone.
There was a lot of weapons, the expertise. Darn girl. You were just so upset. What would you have done, Val? I would have divorced his ass for all of his money.
I would have taken everything. There was no prenup. I'm like, bitch, that's fine. Go bang your escorts.
He's going to be a billionaire. You wait.
I know. And they had... So my issue is...
I'm sure it was a terrible marriage. I mean, I would not stand for anybody cheating, let alone that often. And when you know that kind of service, it's not even about the person anymore. It's just that they want to cheat on you.
But, like, was she really surprised? I mean, she was an escort
Herself.
who... Not that that means anything bad, but he cheated on his wife with her. I feel like when you go into something like that, I guess there's, like, that exception. Like,
that was her bad juju.
But he kept cheating. So the first time he cheated, that was... You know, what does Maya Angelou say? When someone shows you who they are, believe them?
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, I would not kill someone for cheating on me. Think it, maybe, I don't know. When I think of my marriage now, I'm like, bro, if he cheated, and we've talked about this before, I've told you before, it would not be marriage ending. Or even like happiness ending. I just feel like if something like that happens, there's a reason, and so we'd have to just figure it out. But I really, 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 really like my husband, so it's different. And he's not a millionaire or a billionaire or anything. But
yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's just... She did have a lot going for her, and I just think he was just a dick, and she just got tired of it. So, this trial ended up being one of the longest-running judgments in the Sao Paulo justice system, lasting, guess how long?
2 years?
Okay, this is the longest one in Brazil. It lasted 7 days.
I was like, I can't tell what long would be in Brazil.
I know. I'm like, bro, you'd be lucky if you even got a court
That's
appearance in America
yeah, that's not
in
long.
7 days. I know. So the jury sentenced Elise on December 5th of 2016, 19 years, 11 months, and 1 day in prison in a closed regime due to the murder, the destruction, and the concealment of her husband's corpse. And that was it. So what I also thought was really interesting, I saw in the documentary, it's called Elize Matsunaga, Once Upon a Crime. And it's in Portuguese, but they have English translators and subtitles. But in Brazil, they have something called, I wrote a note about it. I didn't write the name, but it's a temporary release. It's a right granted to all prisoners in Brazil where they get 1 week of freedom, 5 times a year.
I
And they
think
don't need an
anybody
escort.
would be a happy prisoner.
They don't need an
In
escort. They don't need a
Brazil.
cop following them. They don't need a bail bond. It's their right as prisoners because they want them to be able to go back into society knowing how to interact with people. Which I was like, that's fucking amazing
Unlike
and
America,
crazy.
that makes it hard for you the rest of your life.
Yeah, and they have you so dependent on the system that they keep just cycling you back in.
The
Anyway,
system
I thought that was
sucks.
really interesting. So in the documentary, she's getting picked up on one of her temporary releases. And again, she can do whatever she wants. She can go get her hair done. She's not limited to anything. They want you to see family. They want you to see friends. They want you to experience the world again for that 1 week, which I think is cool. Again, 1 week of
Five
freedom,
times a year. People don't
five
even go
times
on
a year.
vacation that many times a
I know.
year.
I was like, that's vacation. Come on, America, do better. So, what else? So Marcos's family, because what happened to Helena, their daughter?
Yes, I was gonna
Originally,
say she didn't get to be a mother for very long.
yeah. Originally, her daughter was with Elisa's family, and I think they were going to keep it that way. But then they were like, well, why is she with them instead of Marcos, the victim's family? And his family, being the super cool, awesome, loving, welcoming family that they were, before they took custody of her, they were like, we want a fucking DNA test because she was a sex worker. So she's probably a whore who was with everyone. And I hated, in the documentary, they really touch on it a lot. And I didn't want to because I don't think it's important. But it's important how biased the whole trial and all the coverage was because as soon as they found out she was a sex worker, that's all they focused on. That she was a whore and a sex
that's
worker
not
and blah, blah,
fair.
blah, blah, blah. And it's such bullshit. And I guess the interesting thing was that the family didn't know she was a sex worker. They didn't know how Marcos had met her. They just thought he had a girlfriend.
Okay.
Which
I
is
can
fine,
see why
whatever.
they were upset about it then. I mean, it was a surprise until this came out.
No. They when the trial came out, that's when it all happened that they found out. But during the,
I mean, that's kind of surprising, but
I
yeah.
think if they knew their
what
son,
you
they
mean.
wouldn't be surprised. But I guess he was just holding a bunch of secrets. I don't know. Anyhow, so the family, Marcos's family, had a DNA test on the child, on Helena, and she was their kid. He was her father. So
It was
only
Marcus's,
after
yeah.
that was the family like, okay, we'll take her, which I just think is lame. But I'm sure she's taken care of, and they didn't really talk much about her. She's a child.
When you have money like that too, I think you have to factor
I
that
know,
in.
but I would think if they met her, if they knew her as their granddaughter, like how could they even question that? Even if she weren't blood. But she was one.
Again, they found out something crazy
It
during
was
a trial.
crazy.
Like, this lady was a sex
She was
worker.
a sex worker. Good for her. If I could get paid for it, I probably would. Sorry, honey. I wouldn't. But that was it. What did you think?
I don't know. It sounded like a bad cycle. Like she had it good or she had it bad, and then she got really fortunate meeting this guy, but in really unfortunate ways.
Yeah, he was a douchebag.
And then he ended up doing the same thing to her, and it drove her to that.
No. And I just think of their daughter. It's just sucks for the kids, but
I think it's really interesting that the prisoners seem to have a pretty respectable role in society even while they're in
yeah, I'm gonna talk to Russ about letting me out
custody
for
and
a
stuff.
week, 5 times a year.
That, yeah, exactly. See, not even you, a mother of four, get to do that.
It's fine. I don't feel like I'm in a prison, but I think it's something that America should maybe pay attention to, because I really do feel like the reasons why they do it are important. They want people to be able to get back into society, which I think is really, really important. So, what do you have in store for us, Mel?
It's called the Jaboticabal Poltergeist. Have you heard of it?
And you're in Brazil too, you said.
Yeah, we didn't do that. We did not plan for it.
We're just really good sisters. I don't know what that is, so lay it on me.
Ooh, okay. I most definitely will. So I want to give everyone a little bit of a warning before we start this story. Some of my favorite horror stories are stories that don't get better, and I just want you to take that as a warning for this story.
Ooh, so excited. So excited.
The year is 1965. A respected Catholic and their 11-year-old daughter, a respected Catholic family and their 11-year-old daughter, Maria Jose Ferreira, noticed bricks are falling inside the house.
Uh-oh.
The bricks were the same ones in a pile in the backyard, so the family chalks it up to some prank. However, this went on for a few days, and the family began to think, maybe we should get a priest involved.
Like the bricks from outside were falling inside of the house.
Yes.
Through the roof, or just like randomly falling in rooms?
Now, what I found says that the bricks were starting to fall around the house, but that they were falling around the house. I have other accounts of them, and then like other scenarios. It gets bigger than the bricks.
All right.
It starts with bricks.
I'm ready.
Now, the bricks falling around the home weren't the first sign something might be going on. They were the first, could be violent, signs.
Oh, shit.
Maria had always communicated with invisible friends. Now, Maria is their 11-year-old daughter. She would often laugh and giggle with no one.
No!
It is said that she could ask these friends for a flower, a candy, whatever she could think of, and they would drop the item at her feet in a moment.
Yo, I want one of those friends, kind of. Just don't be evil.
I thought of the Poltergeist movie. I know that there was like another realm or whatever that made it like instantaneously appear, but that I kind of imagined that.
That is
So
trippy.
things weren't always. It wasn't always bricks.
Maybe she was asking for bricks.
She could have been. The priest did an exorcism of the home, but that didn't really stop the haunting.
Uh-oh.
The family reached out to a neighborhood medium, João Volpe, a dentist by day and medium by night.
Hell yeah.
He said that Maria was a natural medium and that she had unknowingly enabled this poltergeist phenomenon. Volpe took Maria into his home in hopes that the activity would stop. It did for a few days until stones began to appear and fly about the Volpe home whenever Maria was present.
Oh shit, so she took the poltergeist to his house.
Pretty much.
Oh.
Volpe counted 312 stones, the largest weighing 8 pounds.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you'd be knocked out, you could be dead, so many things.
That could kill someone.
This poltergeist didn't just stick to brick and stones, y'all. Eggs started being thrown about and would disappear. Some were found in the yard. One day, while having lunch at home, a stone fell from the ceiling and split in two on its way down, the pieces flying in different directions.
Oh no.
These stone pieces showed a metal attraction to each other for some time after this incident. That's the part that made me think of the poltergeist.
Yeah, that's weird.
How it had some weird kind of energy attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
What was once cute and fun was becoming violent and more intense. Over a 3-week period, the glass and crockery items inside the Volpe home were being thrown about and smashed. This is because Maria's actually like full on living with them now.
Oh, yeah.
They tried to get her out of the house. He's like praying over every day. Pictures were being ripped off of the walls. Poor Maria was being slapped, hit, and bitten by the poltergeist, who was now also throwing furniture at her.
The little girl?
The 11-year-old girl.
Fuck.
Some items thrown at her were chairs around the home, a large sofa, and a glass cylinder. So
Ah!
she's bruised. She's getting hurt.
How is she surviving a sofa being thrown at her?
Cups and glasses would appear over. Oh, I'll say something. I said it in my head. I don't know why I said. I don't freaking know. Yeah, I did the motion and everything.
I saw it,
But
yeah.
I was like, I don't freaking know in my head. Cups and glasses would appear over Maria's mouth while she was trying to sleep.
Mm-mm.
So even in like when she's resting, she couldn't find rest. So something was trying to suffocate her. 40 days into this haunting, Maria was attacked with needles embedded into the flesh of her left heel.
Ouch! Oh, that reminds me of Mom stepping on that Christmas light the one time.
That thing was sharp. It was ready.
Ugh.
One attack involved 55 needles. If her heel was bandaged, the bandages would be ripped off.
What the fuck, dude?
It gets worse.
Oh no, baby girl. I'm so sorry. Go.
On March 14th, 1996, while having lunch at school, Maria's clothes began to smolder and caught fire while she was still wearing them.
At school?
At school, so not even anywhere near where any of the presents that she's been haunted. That same day, the Volpe's bedroom caught fire. Joao Volpe was badly injured when he reached for a pillow that was burning from the inside out.
Ah, no!
So
Please,
he
God,
didn't-
I don't want that.
Yeah, he didn't think it was, but I didn't find anything about how bad the damage was, but I think it stuck to the bedroom. After the year Volpe spent working with Maria, he decided to see renowned medium Chico Xavier at his spiritualist center in I didn't look this one up. Uberaba.
Okay.
Sorry if it's pronounced. We covered that.
I think it sounds perfect.
Thank
If
you.
anyone says it differently, they're saying it wrong.
Oh yeah, I made the pronunciation. Chico Xavier was able to make contact with the spirits tormenting Maria. Do you want to know what they said, Val? Can you even assume like what would somebody tell you after this 11-year-old is being tormented?
Mel, I'm all alone. Please don't let it be horrible. Is it going to be horrible?
It just means that karma's a bitch. I think. Ready?
Okay.
Apparently, Maria had been an evil witch in her past life, and the spirits were only tormenting her like she had tormented them,
Oh, shit.
even sending them to their deaths.
Oh,
I know, I got goosebumps.
no. I have goosebumps.
Chico Xavier asked the spirits to relent on this young Maria, who was not the witch, but an innocent child. So a little bit on Chico Xavier. When I read him in the article, it just was very casually mentioned, but when I Googled him, he actually wrote over 490 books while he was alive. 6 were published posthumously, and he was known for a process known as psychography. Do you know what that is?
Psychography?
Dang it. Psychography.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
It's automatic writing.
Oh.
Acclaimed psychic ability. Yeah.
I
So-
sometimes want to try that, but I also don't want to
No,
be
don't do it.
possessed by the devil, so I can't.
I don't want that for you either.
You want to do it
But
together,
it
though?
is a no thank you.
When you visit.
I know my spaces. I know my boundaries. I know where I'm willing to go.
I'm over here like, where can we go that's haunted while Mel's here for that week?
The place in Cincinnati.
Not Cincinnati, Cleveland.
Cleveland. It's
Well-
not far. I was gonna look at tickets.
Let's give it a Google, Mel. Okay, go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's really
Um,
cool about Chico.
So, if you don't know, it's psychography is a claimed psychic ability allowing a person to produce written words without consciously writing. That one I feel like is really for people to say they're phonies because you can't really.
I don't even know what I'm writing. Wait, it says, give me $1 million or you die. What?
You have to. Yeah. So I'm gonna go on, guys. It gets a little dark. I read 2 different accounts of the timeline for what I'm about to tell you. So Chico Xavier was said to have prayed over Maria for countless hours, and believing he was successful in ridding Maria of the spirits, she went back home to live with her mother.
Mm-hmm.
Things didn't end there, unfortunately. So Maria went back to live with her mom. After all of this had gone on, I think she worked with Joao Volpe for a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
She's already 13. She's living at home. She's found dead, and the autopsy reports that Maria died after consuming a drink laced with pesticides.
The daughter?
Maria,
the little girl.
13-year-old.
Okay.
So there's no knowing if it was suicide, or if somehow somebody laced a drink with pesticides.
Her parents were like, I gotta get rid of this kid.
The hauntings didn't stop until she died.
Oh, shit. That's ugly.
So everything that they were experiencing kept going on until she passed. In another account, she lives until 16, and she deals with it for 5 more years.
Mm-mm.
And then is found dead in her home.
So she dies either way.
Yeah.
That's ugly.
Nobody says it was suicide. There was no suicide notes. It could have been. I mean, what do you think when you find a regular soda laced with pesticides? That's not ordinary.
Nope.
She was alone.
That's ugly. Okay.
I hope I set the mood.
You made it terrible.
That's so evil.
Let's end on a sad
note.
Fuck.
I should have told you when you said, hey, I want to go first.
It's okay. Next time we'll talk about whether it's an upper or a way downer. But that is creepy as fuck.
Now we're just going to put on your favorite show. It is so creepy. I think don't be a witch. If you're a witch, don't be an evil witch.
I was looking at something about like past life readings, which I've always wanted to do, just to see what you were like in your past life.
I would love that. I definitely don't feel like I'm a new person, like how they say Joey's new.
Yeah.
And Friends. I don't feel like I'm new. I would love to see what or who I was before.
Let's do it and go live, Mel.
I want to do a tarot reading. I want to do a reading. It might be too personal to do live.
Fuck it.
I'll share my reading.
The other mama in my kid's life, she does tarot readings.
Okay, so we can do a Facebook reading. Yeah.
For our Patreoners. Oh.
Patreoners only. Guys, get on there. We recorded a really fun episode, a fun bonus episode, talking about some really creepy stuff. I'll give you a hint. Bigfoot makes an appearance.
And he's hot. Because he smells like skunks.
That's what the accounts all said. Hot and skunky.
Hot and skunky. That's like all I need to read on the Tinder profile to be like, what's up?
Oh, but you don't even have to give us, $30. You can do $5. There's different tiers. We're new at this. We're only going to get better. All of them come with a little perk.
That's right.
I really implore you guys to check it out.
Please check it out. And if nothing else, if you don't want to spend any money, that's totally okay. We understand it's a hard time right now.
What other kind of money can we use, Val?
No money, just love. Just share us with your friends.
Reviews, yeah.
Share us with your friends. Review us and say how awesome we are, even though we're still like little babies learning. We're new, like Joey, to podcasting. But we won't be forever.
Not in this life.
Not in this life. Where's that from?
Have a good night, y'all.
Do you know where that's from?
Where?
Not in this life. It's from Pulp Fiction. When she's like, what? Get regular jobs?
But that's so short.
She's like, get regular jobs? And he's like, not in this life. The Honey Bunny guys. Anyway.
That's probably my least favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
Well, you're crazy. It's one of my favorites.
Reservoir Dogs. That one I can stomach all of the time.
I love you anyway.
Love you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I love you, and we love you too.
Yes, we do. Spook you later.
And remember, moody people live longer.
Val, hold on. Should we talk about that so people stop thinking we're crazy when we say that?
Fine. So I was reading about people who pay attention to true crime and have anxiety about, people they walk by being serial killers. We do live longer because we're more aware and we are more in tune with risks and threats in our lives. So when I say moody people live longer, I mean that you all who care about true crime and listen to this paranormal stuff, you're going to live longer because you are more self-aware of your surroundings and of threats and potential threats around you. So, yes, our anxiety is a little higher than most people, but we're going to live longer anyway. So,
Spook you later.
and remember, moody people live longer. Bye.
Take care.
Cuídate.
End recording.